All right, welcome back to the channel, or I should say to the show, since we are live. And a good day today. I've at least got um, a lot of my armies, squads, whatever, for Trench Crusade put together. So now I can get over the putting together of squads, which you guys know me. I love building. I love building. I'm just like Bob the Builder over here. I love building. But so I'll show you what I've done. And, some of it took a little green stuff and a little doing, but like here is a Cossack, a World War One Cossack with a Lewis gun, which, of course, the Russians called a DK, whatever. He's got a couple of stick grenades. He's got a cross on his back. This is a trench pilgrim. All the Cossacks would be trench pilgrims. These are not regular army guys, right? These are trench pilgrims. As a matter of fact, I think almost the majority of the armies I've made have been trench pilgrim armies because they are my favorite. I have always liked the little guy, that isn't afraid of throwing down with, whatever, which is why I have like 5 Imperial Guard armies because something about, granted, it don't happen often, but when your line of guys with las rifles manages to take a 10,000-year-old heretic Terminator out, that's pretty saucy stuff right there, right? So I am working on my hedgehogs, which will be covered in barbed wire. And a couple of them I even decorated with like cross scenes and things like that. So, and I was reminded of something. I don't know how maybe I need to look up his channel. Big Vic, what is up, you reprobate? Daniel Barry, how are you doing, sir? I bet you are looking forward to the game. I have to admit, I'm a little excited myself, mainly because, as you probably saw hanging on the wall behind me, I've got my Christian Okoye jersey. So I'm not one of these Johnny come lately Chiefs fans. I've been a Chief fan since Steve DeBerg was the quarterback. But the point is, are they going to three-peat? What do you think? You're the guy that's, sports highlights. You think the Chiefs are going to three-peat tonight or whenever the game is? And if they do, won't that make them like one of the only teams to ever do that? Crafting Gamer, my bro, how are you doing, homie? But yeah, if the Chiefs three-peat, that's going to be insane. I might have to bust my Christian Okoye jersey out and start wearing it around again, even though it's like 30 plus years old, so it's kind of stained and, effed up. But football is rigged. It might be. For all I know, football could be no different than WWE. But the point is, the Chiefs might be one of the first teams in forever to three-peat. And me being a hardcore Chiefs fan since 88, 89, that era, of course I would love to see my Chiefs three-peat. You know what I mean? And I'm not going to get into it about if it's rigged or not, because I guess because it's like I can't prove it, even if it is. And I don't know if I care that much. One thing about building all these trench crusade armies has got me thinking, I need to get in touch with Weird War II. Now, I used to talk to him a little bit, but I haven't seen him in a while. So I might need to go on his channel and see if any of these trench crusade armies would actually work in his game. You know, the whole Weird War II, or if he's ever thought about making like an expansion to Weird War II, but Weird War One, which honestly I think would be better because one, World War II is played out. We all know the deal. We all know, yes, there were bad guys and they were on the German team and whatever, and horrible shit happened. I mean, we all know it. It's boring at this point, you know? It's boring. But World War II, first off, a lot less easy to determine who the actual good guys were. I mean, people need to remember the Germans did not start World War II. They got drug into the damn war because of their alliance with Austro-Hungarians, who decided they were going to beat up on the Serbians because some crazy Serbian anarchist thought it'd be a good idea to like kill an archduke. And then it created like this, I mean, domino effect where basically every country that got drug in two more. And then the next thing you know, all of Europe is completely jacked. Like, you know, millions of men dying and, you know, trench foot and disease and just the worst shit possible. And that's before you even think about adding anything like demons or anything. I mean, World War II was horrible enough. You don't even need any demons. World War One, guys. Yeah, no demons necessary. World War One, the most horrible war humanity has ever been involved in, bar none. I mean, just chemical agents and freaking mechanized killing with machine guns, but you know, tactics hadn't quite caught up to it yet. Which, you know, you see that in the worst wars. Homebrew Trench Crusade RPG. Now that would be cool. That would be cool. The Lost Ark is in Ethiopia. So you would have to do something where maybe some demonic prince somehow sent assassins or something to steal it, and you've got to run it down before they can get it back to Jerusalem. And that would be very interesting. But yeah, I mean, World War II, we know, like I said, we know it was horrible. The shoal happened and a lot of bad things were going on. Yes. Okay, fine. But World War One, man. The last war that was kind of like World War One, but not, was the Civil War. Because in the Civil War, both sides had what, you know, we would consider modern equipment, basically rifled muskets and mini balls and shit like that. But they were still lining up in ranks and fighting Napoleonic style. And that is why more than 500,000 young men died in the United States. Because one good volley from a rifled musket and mini ball at 50 yards, I mean, you're not going to miss a target. It's not, unless you are aiming like at the sky, you're going to hit your target and they're going to die. Whereas, you know, during the Napoleonic War, I mean, you could fire at somebody at 50 yards with a, you know, smooth barrel musket and you might hit them. I mean, you might. It's possible. I mean, you know, it could happen. But, I mean, it wasn't guaranteed, right? But, yeah, you take the mini ball and the freaking rifled musket. Next thing you know, everyone in the whole damn army is a sharpshooter, you know? It's like, but instead of splitting up and fighting smaller engagements and taking into account, the new technologies that were available, they just kept doing the same old thing. Same old thing. I mean, imagine being a Confederate soldier and being told you've got to line up shoulder to shoulder with your bros and march across some muddy field somewhere, and the enemy has Gatling guns. You know what I mean? That's horrendous. Horrendous. Bullshit, I say. Or World War One, where it's like, all right, guys, let's jump out of the trench and calmly just stroll across no man's land at a brisk walking pace. Meanwhile, on the other side of the no man's land, there's like 9 Maxim machine guns set up, and they're just chugging it out. Chug, 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 chug. I mean, ridiculous. World War II, really nothing changed. Warfare was pretty much where it was going to be there. The only thing you could say that really changed about warfare for World War II is nukes. We nuked people. And which I'm still not. I mean, did it have to happen? I'm going to say yeah. Was it still a good thing? I'm going to say no. But sometimes you got to do bad things for good reasons. And I'll just leave it at that. Now, my Trench Crusade videos, I have managed to piss off tons of people. And I'm not even 100% sure why some of them are mad. It's like they just want to be mad. Like one guy posted, and of course he had like a furry bio thing, and he was like, why don't you just go back to 40K? And it's like, because I've said a billion times 40K sucks. Modern 40K is terrible. I'm not going back. And of course I commented and said, but secondly, I don't take advice from people with furry profile pics. And he's like, congratulations, you just alienated a conservative. And I posted back and said, no, because no right-minded conservative would ever have a furry profile pic. So, I don't know what you're trying to do, but it's not working. You know what I'm saying? Not trying to be like whatever, but yeah, it's being whatever, because I just don't think any right-minded guy would be like, you know what? Let's put a sexy fox down or a deer or something. That's one of the things with Twitter. When I'm talking on Twitter, if somebody says something to me and their profile pic is some kind of furry anime creature, I completely disregard them, because no one in their right mind is going to have that. So nothing they're going to add to the conversation. How you doing, Vic?
Hey, man.
Is going to be worthwhile. So I found out your secret.
My secret? I have a secret?
The secret you weren't telling anybody, and I found it out from the source.
Which secret's that?
That Greg Gillespie is going to be at
DaveCon?
DaveCon in April.
Yeah, it's on the website.
Well, you said somebody had agreed to come and you didn't want to tell anybody, and I'm assuming this could be it. It's that or Ernie, maybe, if Ernie's feeling better.
Yeah, Ernie's still scheduled to come. So, yeah, I got Greg Gillespie coming. So, I mean, get your ass up here, man.
Good.
Put yourself on one of those, flying petri dishes and get yourself up here.
Man, I wonder how long it would take to get to, like, Minneapolis by train.
I could tell you.
Because we've got a couple of train stations very near, and I could definitely afford like a sleeper car, you know. How you doing,
Amtrak
left?
offers you can take Amtrak trains from
Hey.
Orlando to Minneapolis, then or actually to St. Paul, but it doesn't matter.
Right.
48 hours it says.
So 2 days. Yeah,
That's
I'd
what
have to.
You'd have to switch in Chicago, it says here.
Oh my goodness.
Oof.
You would go up the East Coast through Washington, D.C., and then go to Chicago. And from there, you would, let's see here, you would switch off. So you'd have to either leave probably Tuesday or Wednesday at 7 o'clock in the evening and get back, go to St. Paul.
Sounds like allergies are killing Leth again.
I think I think I got a cold right now.
I just got over mine, so you don't even have to tell me that one. That's
Yeah, I had one a while back. I just slept it off. So how are you doing, Leth? What's new in your neck of the woods?
I got a game this Sunday,
Good.
and I've been sick for probably from yesterday to today.
All right.
Last night was terrible.
Uh,
Oh, also thunderstorms. Lots of thunderstorms.
Leth is like
you ain't got a
frickin-
blizzard coming in with 12 inches of snow, so just stop complaining. That's what we've got coming. So
Hungar, I sent you a link.
the
Oh,
Rooker
hey.
Day.
Men who play druids are sus. I agree, George. I agree.
I always thought I found it weird, and it's not even a Japanese thing. I mean, American cartoons had that kind of crap in it.
I'm just saying.
It's weird.
In my homebrew game,
Druids are evil.
druids are evil as shit.
I remember Space Jam where they had Lola Bunny and they tried to, make it a thing.
Lola Bunny ruined a lot of American boys.
I didn't get it myself.
Yeah, me neither, but that's where the whole
Here's your
thing
choice,
comes.
James. You can drive it to Minneapolis in 24 hours. You can get on a train; it'll take 48 hours, or you can fly it in 4.
It'd take me about 8 hours.
Yeah.
Hungar is eating dinner. It says. I hope it's something good, Hungar.
Hungar always got an excuse. That's the thing with Hungar.
Yeah. Well,
No matter what
he's
you
your
talk
brother,
about,
so
that guy's got an excuse.
he's your brother.
He is. And I claim him, but that doesn't change what I'm saying. He always got an excuse.
I've already had dinner. We had
No matter when you call, no matter what you do, he always is doing something, eating, cooking, jacking off, whatever the hell it is. He's always got something going on.
Mm-hmm.
And the reason is because he hates to be online now.
Why?
I don't know, because he used to have his own show and everything. Then he stopped and just decided he didn't want to be online anymore.
Well, must have got too many offers from all those women.
Oh, see, there he is.
Yeah, well, that's why I'm teasing him a
That
little
looks
bit.
pretty good, though.
It looks like he's eating eggs and toast.
Steak and eggs with mushrooms and toast.
Yep.
Okay.
I did the let's see here. I did chicken barley mushroom soup last night and a sandwich.
I had pizza.
My wife made amazing beans, and what she did is she made beanie weenies, but she used Southwest seasoned beans with smoked kielbasa.
Yesterday I had a
there
better
you go.
dinner. I'd say fried chicken and noodles.
I made pot roast with mushrooms, homemade gravy, mashed taters, and green beans cooked in bacon grease.
Was your wife home there, Hungar? Jesus
No.
Christ. No.
No, but he's got 2 boys he's got to feed too.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, he's got 2 boys there. They expect to eat for some reason.
Well, if they're over the age of 16, they should learn how to cook.
I'm teaching them.
You better be.
Yeah, it's kind of the. Well, I mean, it's his stepson, so
Oh.
he kind of ain't got a choice, you know. It's like, but
Oh, I made a pineapple upside down cake last night too.
oh, nice, like how mom
You are
makes
a perfect housewife, aren't you there, Hungar?
Hey, I'm a kept man, and I'm not going to complain about it.
it. Did you make it like the way mom makes it in the cast iron skillet?
Yeah,
Yeah, that's the best.
I'm a kept man, and you know what?
Hungar, you know I'm just throwing out there needles at you. That's all.
I have this certain lifestyle that I like to live. And to live this lifestyle, I gotta make sure shit gets done.
Right. Well, and you know I'm just putting needles out there to you.
I had to get up and help the wife with the Christmas tree. I still got a lot of stuff I need to do, but at least I got the tree taken down and pulled out into the backyard so I can cut it into chunks and throw it in the freaking.
You need to find yourself a goat farm. Just bring those Christmas trees to a goat farm. I was watching a video the other day. Goats love Christmas trees for some reason. They will eat them things down to nothing.
I believe it. I mean, goats will eat just about anything.
I was like, I might go down to Florida. I might just get a few goats and put them out there and say Christmas trees wanted, and then I just let the goats eat them down to nothing, and then I got kindling for big bonfires. You know.
Just throw it in the pond and build a nest for fish.
Yep, that works too.
Yeah, that used to be. Yeah, that was a thing, and it used to be tradition when I was up north to burn the Christmas tree.
Oh yeah.
Like on New Year's Eve or something, they would burn it. My grandparents always would, but so they'd have a big bonfire outside when it was nice and cold with a blazing Christmas tree. Because a Christmas tree, especially if it's dried out, man, you touch that thing with a match and it's like, so.
Well, I'm going to leave and eat my dinner.
Yeah, we'll hurry back.
I'm not going to hurry back. I take my time to eat.
You know what? You are not respecting my authority.
I take my time to eat. Remember, I've got to eat slowly so I digest shit.
Okay, so hurry back.
As soon as I'm done eating tomorrow, I'll see you.
Love you. I've already had one rage. Do you really want to be responsible for a second one?
Black rage. Bitch, I almost spit my soda out.
Yeah, my rages are not near as safe as a black rage.
Dude, let me eat my food. I was on for a long time yesterday.
With who?
You.
I didn't even stream yesterday, did I?
Yes.
You did.
Oh, okay. Never mind then.
Love you. Bye.
I was on yesterday.
Oh, well, never mind. Okay.
I didn't even see that.
I have decided to do what people did back in the day, and I am putting sandbags on the legs of all of my Czech hedgehogs where they touch the dirt. One, it's a good way to hide the super glue, and two, it looks realistic, because that was what they would do. They would they would put the hedgehogs down. Then they would try to like brace them as good as they could with like the sandbags. And then they would run barbed wire in between them. And that was kind of the, you know, defense. So, yeah. But I've got one thing. I can't wait to get the weapons for him and paint him because I'm going to give him some badass weapons. And then post it. I will post it everywhere. Everywhere there is a Trench Crusade community, this figure is getting posted there. And here he is so far in the first steps. Come on. Focus.
Where's his arms?
I haven't got his arms on yet, but you see who it is?
It's Trump.
That's right. He's going to have a big effing two-handed Y handler because he is going to be the leader of this army, which is a Vatican rapid response force. So it's a bunch of Swiss Guard with halberds, but some of them have semi-auto pistols or rifles, I mean, with halberds for bayonets. And I'm going to paint them up in that freaking weird orange and purple bullshit that they wear. And their lieutenant is going to be Trump. And I'm doing it the same reason I did it with my Blood Angels. I made like almost every one of my squad leaders Trump or Ryan Gosling. Just so that when I took it to the store, if there was anyone that was like super blatant anti whatever, you know, I could flush them out.
I got one thing to say about this halberd rifle.
What's that?
If you try to make it both, it's going to be shit at both.
No, it's a rifle, except where the bayonet is, the bayonet has an axe blade as well.
Yeah, but that's just it. You're putting more weight on the gun, and that makes it a shittier gun.
These guys don't care. They're part of the Vatican rapid response team. Like, in order to join the team, you have to be an amazing athlete, under 25 years of age, unmarried, and absolutely devoted to the Vatican.
It doesn't matter how strong you are. It still will be just a worse off rifle or a worse off halberd.
Oh, my God, Leth, shut the fuck up.
What?
It's a game.
I know.
You're going to sit here and talk about your gnome mechanic that does all this stupid ass shit. And then your big problem in a game is that this dude's got halberd head on the end of a rifle.
It's not realistic enough.
Plus, non-realistic. Bro, I can look up historical.
Yeah, there are.
That were that way.
Yeah.
They put axe heads at the end of freaking blunderbusses and shit.
Yeah, I know. But the thing is that they were quite terrible at both of what they tried to do with it.
I don't know. So I got like 4 dudes who are just halberdiers, but they also carry pistols. So if they need to, they got the pistol for range.
I'm sorry, James.
5 guys.
A gun nerd.
5 guys with halberdiers and 4 guys with semi-automatic rifles with bayonets. And then since Trump is probably going to be the lieutenant, which is a cleric actually, probably give him like put a Bible on his waist and give him a big freaking fancy sword with Latin on it. I know I have one around here somewhere. Gold? Yeah, and just like do him up, you know, so that everybody knows. But then I got my Cossack guys all done. I think I told you about that. And they just need to be painted. And the other army I made, which Raven probably wouldn't like so much, but you know what? Screw him. Is these guys were released as the survivors of the fall of Constantinople. So they're actually done up like infantrymen, but in the uniform of like the Varangian Guard. since Constantinople fell. So these guys are basically trench pilgrims that are dedicated 100% to the liberation of Constantinople. That's their whole deal. So I made a really crazy looking priest to lead them. Like instead of having a helmet or something, he's like just all wild haired. He's got like the wild hair and the big beard. Good for her.
So what I said when I read it just now, I'm just like, holy crap! They are taking.
Well, I think the big issue is because I do follow international news occasionally. It's not like a thing, but occasionally if like Benny Johnson or somebody talks about it, I'll be like, okay, what's going on over there? Yeah, their crime rate, like all over Italy, has been through the roof. And like
I've been seeing some of those
90% of the time, it's North Africans.
Yeah, well, I've been seeing those pictures on Radio Genoa. You ever see that X account, Radio Genoa?
Mm-mm.
Look it up on X, and they got videos of the crimes that are happening, and people send them to Radio Genoa, and he puts them up, and oh my God, I mean, some of them are just like, if they happen in America, I guarantee you, some of those guys would get shot. I mean, just you know what I mean?
Well, it looks like some of them are getting shot these days because the last couple I saw is like the Italian, whatever they call their police, were showing up quick and putting a beating on people because let's be honest. I mean, you can only be so nice.
Last one I saw was a guy jumping in some Roman or in Rome, some one of those fountains. He is naked, taking a bath and stuff in there, and that they had like 6 or 7 officers jump on top of him and bring him out of there. As far as I was concerned, they should got out a taser and just gave it to him. You're naked in a fountain and you get hit by a taser. I wonder how much that would hurt.
Well, the problem is, and a lot of people can take this however they want to on, later listening, but this is what happens when you import people who have no civilization into nations that are based on actually one of the most ancient civilizations. But everybody's like, it's racist to say that. But it's like, have you seen the way these people live in Congo? And your brilliant idea is, hey, let's import a bunch of people from Congo. I mean, they're down there eating each other.
Well, look at Spain. That Radio Genoa, if you look on that X account, they show videos every day almost of these North Africans using speedboats to run 30, 40 people over in these boats over to Spain across the Gibraltar Strait there and dump them off and then turn around and go back and grab another load. You know what I mean? So it's endemic. And as far as I'm concerned, if you get warned off and you don't turn around and go back, well,
Sink
if a
'em.
50 caliber slug goes through your engine, hey, whatever. I mean, that's what they do with drug runners.
You know what the Australians do? Australia will run up on a boat full of refugees, attach a rope to it from their cutter, and then pull it as fast as they can towards one of the islands up near Java or frickin' wherever.
Yeah.
Guinea. And then when they get close, the cutter turns and lets the rope go so that the boat full of refugees just runs up on the shore.
Oh, I didn't know they did that.
Australians are all like, stay here. And that's just it.
You know what I've been saying? If a country doesn't want their people back, just run an Air Force plane over the thing with an escort of 4 or 5 fighter jets and start pushing them out the back end with parachutes.
Yeah, you know what? All that changed, though. that Colombian guy, he thought he was a badass for about 15 minutes. And then all of a sudden he realized it's just the same way with the guy in Panama. Yeah, he thought he knew something for about a day. And then the next thing you know, he's all like telling the Chinese he's not going to deal with them anymore and pulling down all the Chinese signs and whatever, because he realized he's getting ready to be in a bad situation. Not a situation he wants to be in.
No, because last time we were there, we dropped in and we took it over in what, 14 hours or something like that?
It was quick. Like literally, I knew guys that had been there. Because you know how they send all the Ranger rejects to 3-7 infantry?
Mm-hmm.
So a lot of the Rangers that dropped in that airfield ended up in my unit. Because I don't know why. My unit was just the unit that the division had said, you know what? Every time a Ranger screws up or wants to leave Ranger bat, we'll just send them to that guy, that unit, you know? And that's what they did. And I remember being so jealous because some of those dudes, even though I never had any jump wings, but some of those dudes had like combat jump wings with stars on them and shit. I mean, it was like, oh my God. Looks so freaking badass. It's just like, I mean, they were dismounts just like me by then, but still. They had their jump wing with the combat star and all that shit. But yeah, they literally dumped light infantry onto the airfield, and our light infantry cooked their freaking armored vehicles and took over the airfield. It's like, it's not even close. Just don't even try it, you know? Because our Rangers carry those they used to carry the Carl Gustav recoilless rifles. So lickety split, if it's a light armored vehicle, you can put a hole right through it. You know what I mean? Because I think that thing's like 100 millimeter recoilless or something.
A Carl Gustav? Let's look it up.
The Carl Gustav is what they used to use, unless they switched to 88s now, or AT4s, I mean.
8.4 centimeter recoilless rifle?
Yeah, it's a recoilless rifle. It used to be all the shit with the special operations guys.
It was a Swedish rifle.
It is. Carl Gustav was a Swedish guy.
8.4, 84 millimeter.
Yeah.
Yep.
And then the one we had, not that I ever got to use one except in training, was called the AT4. So like an 8T4. And it was 84 millimeter anti-tank thing. And it worked just basically like a law, except it was bigger. You know, you pulled a pin and the sights flipped up, and then you looked down it and fired it off and then threw it away.
That's cool.
But I used one in like basic, but because I ended up in a mechanized unit, is like we never carried man portable ATGMs or anything, because we got a TOW-2 missile launcher mounted on the Bradley, you know what I mean? And nothing you're going to carry man portable is going to beat that TOW. I mean, that TOW will blow any tank that exists on the planet in half at like 2,000 yards. So just don't even worry about it, you know?
Yeah.
So, yeah, we just didn't even carry that. We carried a couple extra reloads for the TOW, and that was it. I was in Iraq. And it was not a fair war. And honestly, I did my duty, but I don't necessarily agree that we should have ever went there.
Yeah, we shouldn't have.
But, you know, whatever. I mean, you know, I did. People ask me about it, and I'm like, well, I joined the Army. I'm a hillbilly from Kentucky. And I raised my hand and I gave an oath. And God is my witness. I was going to fulfill it. You know what I mean? Because that's...
You did the job you were supposed to do.
That's what a man does. And while I actually can honestly say, even though some people might say I'm a little racist about it, that I actually really despise the Saudi Arabians and had no problem with any of the Iraqi people that I ever dealt with. Because we capture them. And you'd be surprised how many of those guys spoke English as good as I do. Yep. The problem is the soldier does not get to decide, Lobtope. The commander decides, and then the soldier just does his duty.
I hope
And
we can
that
just.
is the way it's been since ancient times. Whether
I
you
really
want to
wish
go
we could
back
just,
to,
swap out our generals and make, get better generals.
well, I mean, we're
That's
trying.
going to happen.
We're trying. So don't join. Well, no. I was, like I said, a hillbilly from Kentucky. So my choice was coal mine or army. And I chose army. I wanted to get that badass GI Bill and maybe get an education, which didn't work because I hate school, but it could have. It could have. It was a good plan. It's a good plan. So instead, I went to a trade school and I did that for a living.
Trade school's not bad.
No, I love trade school.
I think
I
it's
had to
more
get,
valuable than college.
I think
well,
trade
my
school.
trade school,
I
my
think
trade school,
should-
I got EMTB, Fire 1, Fire 2, EMTP. Then I went to engineering school so that I could learn how to drive the big trucks. And
Oh, that reminds me.
I
I just recently found out my dad was actually a firefighter at one point.
Awesome. You know, every guy in the Navy is. No, I'm not joking. When you join the Navy, part of Navy basic training is you learn to be a firefighter.
Yep.
It
And
would
if
make
you don't,
sense.
if you don't have a MOS or anything, you're or fail at MOS, you're automatically a firefighter.
Yeah, what they call those guys, bosuns.
Yeah.
That basically means you're the guy that's going to be painting the hull of the ship and scraping barnacles, like all of the stuff that really, really does need to get done, but no one wants to volunteer to do. That's what you're going to do.
Yeah, because
but the good thing about being a bosun is they promote quick. So if you're in the Navy and you're wanting to get promoted, I mean, bosun is not a bad way to go because they're always needed on every ship. Every ship needs somebody to paint the freaking hall walls battlefield gray. You know, I see big news. Think it will change much? Hope so. Hope so. Too soon to say. Too soon to say, Loeb. But I definitely hope so. I mean, some crazy shit's going on. I'll tell you that.
Well, I tell you what, the left is went completely loony. I think. I mean, they just. I cannot believe some of the things they're saying and trying to do. You know what I mean?
Well, I mean, listening to Chuck Schumer screaming about starting a coup, it's like they locked a bunch of January 6 guys up just for being at the wrong place at the wrong time. And none of them were talking about actually starting a coup.
Well, the thing is,
this guy's literally saying he wants to be involved in starting.
We'll see if anything happens.
The government. Like,
don't underestimate double standards here. Some people will get away with actually calling for literal violence, while others will be put in jail for not even calling for violence.
They better watch out once Kash Patel gets in. You know what I mean? It's going to be a brave new world for some of these guys. They're going to be shocked with what happens. Oh, yeah. Before he got pardoned for crimes he may or may not have committed, you know, over the last 10 plus years, 14 years, Fauci was already warning us of another pandemic.
There was going to be a pandemic one way or another. We just didn't
Yeah.
know where it was going to originate from. I mean,
Right.
and if you look at it, let's be real, people. HIV was a pandemic. I mean, it got out of control. Then they figured out how to fix it, and now we're dealing with it with a cocktail of drugs for those who are of the persuasion or sexually active. You know what I mean?
Or
And
got it because somebody you were married to was on the DL.
yeah. But anyways, I mean, that was a pandemic, and then before that, the Spanish flu, and then we had smallpox, and then we had
Yeah, but
polio.
the Spanish flu was a SARS, just like COVID.
Yeah.
I mean, we can't say that name too much, otherwise we'll get in trouble. But
What name?
the coof, because they still get all pissed off if you
Oh,
mention the coof.
grow up. Grow the hell up. Why can't we talk about history in civilized manner?
Because
I really get annoyed by these people. It's like, oh, you can't say those words like
why
hello,
can't we?
it's a
Because
fact of life.
this is freaking YouTube, and YouTube doesn't make any sense. And if you think it's going to,
Yeah, we're in Soviet YouTube.
yeah. But yeah, they were trying to do something. It didn't work. Then they tried to kill him. Didn't work. And now he's in office tearing everything apart, and they're losing their minds because that one thing that they put an end to, that USAID thing, it turned out that like a ton of the left-wing media stuff was being financed by USAID.
Yep.
Oh yeah, that $8 million they sent to Politico. I was shocked when I saw that. I was just like, wow, $8 million to prop up a news organization like that. And isn't Politico like a charge fee service to get their?
Yeah.
I mean,
my favorite is the billions of condoms we sent to the Middle East for some reason.
It keeps on getting more. It keeps on getting more expensive too. It's like 10 billion, 50 million, 100 million, or something like that.
Well, because as they keep digging deeper and deeper down the rabbit hole, it's just like,
oh, they're gonna find some ways. I tell you what, if I was a government auditor and I was able to go into these places and say, what are you paying $3,200 for a hammer for? You know what I mean? I'd be like, no, that contract's null and void. I'll call Home Depot and I'll order you 3,000 hammers for that kind of money.
$50,000 for a coffee machine.
Yeah, there was something I read something about. James, I can't hear you.
Yep, you're mute again.
You're mute, James. James, you're mute. He can't hear us.
Nope.
He can't. Well, we'll just talk over him, and that'll be fun. We can't hear you. No, we can't hear you. Still can't hear you. No.
Privyet.
Now we can hear you.
No, they lie and say that they paid 30, however, for the hammer.
Yeah.
They don't buy the hammer. They spend that money on black ops operations around the world, propping up dictators and
I know,
doing coups and shit.
It's more about the joke of it, really.
Yeah, it's like
until they get around the whole funding issue.
It's like the $30,000 toilet seats, and it's like you're not fooling anybody. I tell you what, I agree with homeboy from Texas. The IRS should just be disbanded.
Oh yeah.
Oh, I think the IRS should have been gone a long time ago. But
I mean, for a lot of these things, there's nothing more permanent than a temporary government agency.
That's true.
Well, okay, here's my thoughts about the IRS. Is it easier to collect from 15 million businesses in the United States or whatever it is, a sales tax, and tariffs coming in from overseas than it is from 330 million individuals.
You know,
What
That's
is
how we
on-
used to do it.
yeah,
huh?
we used to do that.
I
We
know.
used to not have income tax or a lot of these taxes.
Yeah,
Well,
you just
and as soon as something hits the shore, I mean, it should just be like, oh well, the tax ain't paid, and it's not leaving the port until it is paid. You know what I mean? It just that's the way it is. I mean, you got to have a credit card on file if you're a business owner, and as soon as that container hits the shore, boom, you're charged for it, and you know it because your bank's going to go, hey, you just got charged $3,000 for this shipment of worth $30,000 coming over from China. Okay,
yeah, we
you know,
the United States for like the first 100 years never had an income tax.
I know, but here's the thing: is that they're screaming, yelling, and everything else.
Tons of these taxes.
If we don't have on raw materials, if we don't have a tariff on raw materials and only on finished goods that are coming inside the United States, we'll be fine because guess what? That will shift over a lot of jobs from overseas back to the United States. I mean, because raw materials, we need some, from different countries. Other countries, other stuff we don't, you know. But I mean, you can be circumspect on that stuff,
I know we used to get a lot of lumber from Canada,
right?
but Tennessee and Kentucky are full of lumber.
Well,
Yeah.
the Southeast is full of it. I mean,
I mean, there's nothing but lumber there. And anything else we buy, I guarantee you exists somewhere in America.
right.
True.
I mean, what, you want
But
some coal? We got coal. You want oil? We got tons of that. We got uranium.
There's certain things that we might import from other countries that we don't have. You know what I mean? I mean, it's just the way it is. So we on raw materials, we just don't put an income or put a tariff on it unless it's like, okay, we're gonna import coal. Well, fuck no, we got enough of that stuff. We're gonna put a big tariff on that shit. You know what I mean?
Right.
We're gonna import oil. Well, no, we got enough on damn oil. We don't have to import it. We've got our own.
I'll tell you what, you want to piss off like everybody from Pennsylvania down to Tennessee? Yeah. Import coal.
Yeah.
But
that's what I'm saying.
Everybody from eastern Pennsylvania all the way down to Tennessee, West Virginia, Kentucky would be pissed off.
I know, but that's what I'm saying is that you would be circumspect on items like raw materials like coal that would be like, oh no, they want to import coal? No, there's 100% tariff on that shit. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
They want to import uranium. Well, we don't have that much uranium, but okay, we'll allow that without having an import tax on it. So I mean,
well, we used to have a ton of uranium, but some lady in government sold it all to Russia, I think.
Are you talking to the lady from that was from Chicago? She was born in Chicago, married an Arkansas governor, and was
yeah, that's the lady.
Secretary of State for a while.
That's the lady. She thought it'd be a good idea to just sell all the uranium. It's like, wow.
I'm not worried about it. I mean, if the tax plan goes together and they can put a national sales tax of 6-7%, you know what? People will figure out what life is. And those who have big money are going to spend, I'm going to go buy the Ferrari. Well, guess what? That's another $7,000 on that Ferrari that you just bought to pay for. You got a national sales tax on it. It's just tough shit. You know what I mean?
Yep.
I don't really care. Oh, I'm going to buy a $300 million super yacht. Well, better start getting out your checkbook for every $100,000, just $7,000 on top of it.
Well, that's how the state I'm currently living in manages not to pay any income tax.
Yeah.
Because Florida has a pretty big sales tax. I think it's like 7-8%, 9%. Right. So what ends up happening is all the tourists come down here to go to Disney World, and then everything they buy, they're paying all this sales tax on. So Florida citizens don't have to pay an income tax because, I mean,
And
we're all good.
if you got a piece of property out in whatever county, I don't know, and you're only paying $1,000 a year, and you're growing most of your food down there.
Bear's in.
The bear is here, the reprobate.
Look at his
anyway.
new thing. That bear looks like a reprobate.
Yeah.
That bear. What is that bear doing?
Anyway,
bear's up to something.
What I'm trying to say is that you can live really cheap down in Florida if everything's paid for, if your land is paid for, your house is paid for, and you did some green energy stuff in your house down there, you could live. Jesus, I bet you can get away with $20,000 a year income down there.
The main thing you would have to worry about is property taxes, but that depends where you are. If you're like where I am, you're going to pay a lot of property taxes.
But I'm talking agricultural. If you zone your like a little farm, 10 acres agricultural, yeah, I mean, you know how that works. So
if you're like,
you need to dress that place up a little bit behind you.
Why does Bear look different?
Why does Bear look different?
Shaved his beard?
Trimmed my beard.
His beard. He looks
I haven't shaved my head in a while.
Have you not been eating
thinner?
Right? You look thinner. Were you sick or something?
No, wasn't sick. I'm eating just fine. Because when you have less beard, your face looks thinner.
Oh, okay. I wear a beard to cover up my Peter Griffin chin.
Yes, I have a Northern European chin as well.
So I'm all like,
you Southern Italians with your little thing, yeah. Unlike you Southern Italian, you Italianese, you Portuguese, all you Southerners with your big ass chins.
Well, at least they don't have the Ferdinand chin.
Well, the difference is we can drink milk products.
That's true.
We don't turn lactose intolerant in our 40s.
Yeah. Chocolate milk combines two of my favorite things: lactose tolerance and conquest.
I'm hoping soon I can have some more donuts.
Oh my goodness, you are so random, Leth.
Well, milk. You have donuts with milk.
I know, but you just come out left field with like the weirdest shit sometimes.
I'm just looking forward to having more donuts. Well, isn't that nice?
It's like, okay.
I have a great place to get donuts.
Here you go, James. I'm sharing a picture with you that I think you will actually appreciate for many reasons. Hang on, I gotta open it in a new tab. There we go. Momento, por favor. There you go. It's sharing now. You can look.
Huh? Well, I didn't know this. In Florida, agricultural land does not have a special assessment. They're prohibited on agricultural lands. So, well, tough luck.
Right. Except my favorite version of that meme was the one about D&D. When the guy's sitting there with the rifle and the guy's like, I play D&D. And the guy with the rifle is like, okay, what edition? And it's like, uh-oh, shit's getting ready to get wild around here because that guy does not look like a 5e player.
The ironical part is he was a 5e player. He was a 4e player. He was like, you're not playing 4e, you're not playing D&D. I think edition warring is stupid and everyone should shut the fuck up.
I'm not going to argue with you because I'm happy to see you, even though I disagree in the strongest of terms, sir.
I know. But you know what? If you look up on you can't see it at this angle. Hang on. If you look all the way up, you're going to see the right there.
Yeah.
OSE, the 2 box sets. So,
which, let's be honest, OSE fixed, in my opinion, everything that anyone could complain about AD&D, OSE fixed. Pretty much. It fixed the weird grappling hand-to-hand combat rules that took up like 4 pages, and no, I don't think anyone understood or actually used. It got rid of that silly segment time thing because that was just not really necessary. But I mean, all OSE is if they had taken Moldvay Cook and just pushed it to have the same classes and stuff as AD&D, but still run like Moldvay Cook.
I just like OSE.
Yeah, but
and
I'm saying that's all it
carrion
is.
crawlers or carcass crawlers or whatever they're called. I have all.
Oh
of
yeah,
those.
they're cool. They add so many new classes and races and things.
Yep. Oh yeah.
And like I always do, I always use D6 thief skills because I like D6 thief skills.
I have a 2d6 system that I hacked together from, I think it was Dyson Logos created the original version of it. And what I did was I replaced every class ability, like tracking and shit like that for classes with this 2d6 system. And then that allowed me to create a non-weapon proficiency system where you have skills. And your skills are either primary, secondary, or tertiary. And that determines per level what your success chance on 2d6 is for those skills. And it works really well.
There is a game that does something kind of, but not exactly like that. And that is basically any game that is without number.
Oh, yeah, without number. I've never played that system. It's too expensive.
All of their games are like...
ridiculously expensive.
They are, but they have a class, but then they have a list of skills. And all the skills, for some reason, are on 2d6. And instead of... Okay.
I'm scared to click on any link Vic puts.
Oh,
I put Vic in the exact same category I put Bruce Lombardo. I'm scared to click on any of your links.
Oh, come on, man. He's crazy.
But I don't know, Bruce.
I'm the one who gave you. Let's hold it. Stop right there, Bear. I'm the one who gave you what's her face's email address.
You know what we don't do in Canada? We don't use favors we've done for people as ways to bully them afterwards. That's a truly American sport, just so you're clear on that.
It kind of is, I think. A new mirrored bacteria that will end all human life. Well, Lobtobe, if that is God's will, then let God's will be done.
Yeah, I don't play AD&D, but this looks interesting, dude. That's it's interesting.
I will not.
It's just a bunch of different articles and stuff. I even contribute to it every.
I will
I
not
contributed every issue except for one. My next one will be about curses and how they're underutilized in most RPG games, especially fantasy games, because you don't see it. I mean, I don't see enough curses being utilized. I mean, in games and stuff like that.
Well, my homebrew game that I ran for a very long time, since it was so heavily based on Kievan Rus society, there was curses for everybody.
There's pretty good amount of curses in our game.
You get a curse. You get a curse. And you get a curse.
Everybody gets a curse.
Everyone gets a curse because that little old lady living out in the woods, yeah, she's going to put curses on you. You're going to get the evil eye, get -1 to every good roll or +1 to every roll, depending on whatever's the worst. I mean, if it's a really bad curse, it could be like disadvantage to everything until you get the curse fixed, just like, or maybe you got the head, the ears of a donkey because you thought you talk a bunch of shit to some little old lady.
Yeah, but
it turned out that the little old lady was some kind of Slavic witch.
But some curses are evolving. I mean, it's like, oh, you broke into that tomb and there's a curse written on the wall, but you don't know that there's spores in the air that were saved inside there. That's actually what's causing you to be sick and stuff. And 6 months later you're dead because you have some bacteria growing in your lungs. And you're like, ah.
Oh, Tutankhamun's curse.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's some Egyptologist shit that you could throw into like I don't know, a Call of Cthulhu game.
Or RuneQuest. RuneQuest has a lot of curses.
D&D, you can throw them in any game if you
Yeah.
think about it.
Yeah, I like to prefer like actual like logical things in my D&D game.
Oh no, that's no fun. You gotta
Like
make
there's
them
no germs in the tomb, but there is a curse, and it's magic. And everything that happens to you has nothing to do with any bacteria. It has everything to do with, a shaman 1,000 years ago cursed the tomb, and you decide to be an asshole.
Yeah, well, there's
So
that.
now your hair all falls out.
Well, that's one of my curses inside my game. It's just like, oh, you picked up that weapon. You don't know anything. It just next morning you wake up and you're hairless.
Mhm.
I've almost died to a few curses before.
I mean, curses don't have to be deadly. They can just
No.
be incredibly detrimental.
Oh yeah, definitely. There's those too.
Look at my paladin in my game. He went from a pasty white guy to now he's darker than the black hole. You know what I mean?
He's Mr. Popo now.
Yeah. Bear's looking at me like, going, huh?
Like, so your curse was to make someone black.
Well, it was hyperpigmentation. That's
Yeah, I'm just gonna let that one go right there.
But there's also a reverse of that one, where if you pick it up, it's depigmentation, where you get just the opposite happens.
This is like, holy fuck, am we swimming in the wrong pool right now?
Yeah,
You can be cursed with
you're just talking
albinism.
about curses.
Yeah, because, according to BLM, that wouldn't be a curse.
Well, I mean,
you can become an albino in my game, or you go the opposite way. I mean, just here it is. This is what it
to
is.
be fair, according to my rabbi, when growing up, it was because of Ham. A lot of Jewish rabbis teach that the African race are the descendants of Ham, and the Europeans are the descendants of Japheth, and the Asians are the descendants of Shem. So basically, yes, God cursed Ham. They all become black. That's what they teach.
Now, you two don't answer this question. And chat, please don't answer this question. Leth,
Well, yeah.
you got a bathtub full of water, okay? You have a teaspoon, you have a teacup, and you have a saucer. What's the fastest way to drain that tub?
A saucer?
How about pulling the plug, buddy?
Well, you didn't give me that, Ed.
All I said was you had a bathtub full of water.
No, it was there. I knew it.
Teacup and a saucer. And then I said, what's the fastest way to drain the tub?
Okay, dynamite.
No,
you don't got dynamite.
You don't have the dynamite.
Just accept that you lost. Don't make excuses like America. For every time you lose, we have to make excuses why you lost. You can't just take the L.
Hey, we've got a new war cry down here.
What's that?
When we go into battle, guns blazing, we shout at the top of our lungs, "What the fuck is a kilometer?"
That's funny. Should you guys use them in the military?
It's just like, what the fuck is a kilometer? We measure everything now in bald eagles.
Bald eagles and washing machines, apparently.
And washing machines. It's like, what's funny is it's true. That's why it's funny. Because you'll ask somebody like how big something is, and they'll be like, I don't know, about 3 times the size of a something or another thing, or
I
some
measure it in
random ass
gumballs.
shit laying around the house.
I'll measure things in gumballs.
So that's like what's funny about Index Card RPG, where he's like all the measurements are in bananas, because that is the most American thing that you could possibly do in any role-playing game. Just be like, yeah, your character can move 1 banana. Like, what? Now we all know a banana is about 6 inches, but whatever,
Yeah, well, there's one great thing most men don't know is how big 6 inches really is.
I'm just happy I married a woman with very small hands.
Why do women make horrible carpenters? Because all their life they've been told this is 12 inches.
Right? Yeah. Yep. If you marry a woman with very small hands, it makes your junk look bigger.
No, shut up. I don't believe you.
That's a life lesson, bro.
Leth, you married yet?
Nope.
Seeing anyone?
Nope.
Go to the Philippines.
Yeah,
Seriously,
you're
you'll feel like
young
a
enough.
god. You'll feel like a god.
I
used to work,
don't
in
know.
call centers.
I don't know if guys should get married till they're after the age of 50.
Well, that's nice. And, you do you. And, as the shirt
Well, I'm
says,
just saying.
you do you. You do you, sir.
Yeah,
You do
yeah.
That would be in high demand in Philippines too, because he's a ginger.
Ginger, how color your eyes, Sleth?
I don't know. I didn't really pay attention.
You don't know what color
Turn
your
on the
eyes
camera,
are.
we'll tell you.
I don't have a
look in the
camera
mirror,
right now.
you'll be able to tell.
That's like people say, I don't know when my birthday is. You liar. You're a liar.
Do you got brown eyes left? There's nothing wrong with it. I got brown eyes.
I don't
Nothing wrong
know.
with brown eyes.
Let me check right now.
Let me check. Jeez.
The most descriptive versions of my eye color I ever heard was the color of soil after rain and shit. Those are the two versions I get.
Mine too.
Yeah.
I think it's green.
Green? Okay.
Yeah.
Took us with green eyes. What could it mean? Dude, you would be a hit in Asia.
Yeah, ginger with red
You
hair.
can also live
A
really
redheaded
cheap.
guy with green eyes. I mean, that's
Now,
like
normally I'd say go to Japan because they like big guys too, but boy, oh boy, oh boy, the Filipinos like big guys.
You
Yeah,
could
they
live
do.
really cheap, Leth. If you
6
got a
foot
couple
one.
$1,000 a month you're living on here, over there you'd be a king.
Yeah, for $2,000-3,000 a month, you'd live like someone over here living on like $10,000-15,000 a month.
I do know this. Not that I want to see you ever leave, Leth, but my nephew married a Filipino woman and has never been happier. And they got a kid, and it's adorable looking little guy. And
Good, but I don't plan on
He's
ever
happy
moving,
as he's ever
especially
been.
outside the state.
so,
That is
well,
why
you
no
can
one will
import
remember
them.
your name.
What?
Go ahead, James.
It's
Oh,
why
I said you can import them, but I was
Yeah.
waiting for Bear to say whatever he was saying.
Don't import them. Every Filipino will tell you never bring them here because they change and they stop acting like Filipinas because they start hanging out with white women, and the white women start teaching them their witchy white women ways.
I know a guy who his white wife died. He moved to the Philippines, has a house now on the ocean down there, and he got remarried to a Filipino woman, and he's living the life. I'm telling you. Sometimes I see pictures coming back from him, and I'm just like, my God.
There's not a single man I know who moved to the Philippines and got married who I would say is unhappy at all.
Well, it's like we talked about. A big part of it is the fact that beauty standards are so different between us and them.
Yeah.
So it's like all the women we think are like extra super beautiful, they don't.
No, they think they're ugly.
They think they're ugly. They don't want them.
When you see those short, round Filipinas, that's beauty over there.
That's the ones they want.
And when we see the tall ones with sharp features and slim waist, they're like, what do you want that bony bitch for? It's like, all right, I'll take your leftovers.
So it's like the best of both worlds, man. They get the little round ones with the paler skin. You get the little darker skin,
Yeah.
They want the baby makers.
taller,
They want the-
skinnier one.
Yeah, they
They want
never
the
want
baby
dark skinned
makers.
girls either.
You know. But yeah, man. I don't know if I'm glad things worked out the way they worked out because I adore my wife. But in a different world, after I went through my second divorce, I might have just been like, fuck this. But that would have been 25 years ago or so. So,
I got invited by a guy to go to the Philippines with him, and at the time I was like, I'm dating the current girl I'm with. I'm like, no, why do I want to go?
Right. Well, I mean, if you're happy, you're happy. But one of my best friends throughout Fire Academy was a Filipino guy. And he would always take me to his house, and his mom would cook freaking Filipino food. Like chicharron, but they call it something else. But it's basically fried hunks of pork fat and noodles and lechon or whatever they called it.
Sean, yeah.
I mean, and she would just be like, eat, 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 eat. You'd be dying. Like, it'd be like that Monty Python skit where you're like, I can't eat another bite.
Fuck off.
Like my grandmother's table at the holidays. She, you sit there and, the Italian grandmother, she'd look at you going, you haven't had enough. Clunk. Here's a spoonful of whatever right back on your plate. You're just like, oh.
I really appreciate having grown up in a Northern European Anglican family where it's just basically like, why are you still here? Get out.
My first grandmother-in-law was from Naples. And that's how she was. Every time we'd visit, as soon as you walked in the door, she'd be like, you look hungry. Do you want something to eat? And she'd start cooking something,
Sounds like my grandmother. My grandmother would sit there and just, you need
and
something.
she'd be like, you're a growing boy. And I'd be like, you're going to make me fat as hell. And she'd be like, nah, you're so handsome. And she was like this 4 foot tall, little old Italian lady. She used to make amazing fish soup. Like
my grandmother was
and beans and pasta and tomato and
my grandmother was 5'0", and she could throw a wooden spoon like a cruise missile. So,
they're all good at that.
2 lefts and a right, down the hallway, upstairs, down the hallway, and take a left hand turn and hit you in the exact center of your forehead.
That's not true, and you know it. But anyway, my grandmother was a 5 foot Irish woman who taught us how to shoot guns. You know what I mean? She was a crazy bitch.
Sounds badass.
But cool. You know what? You can have all the wooden spoons you want. I can have all those fucking crazy blue fingernails that would sink into my arm when I fucked up and have this tiny woman screaming at me. Mm-hmm. We have nothing on the chancla of doom that our Latino brothers had to grow up being assaulted with.
Oh,
that thing was fucking insane. Huh?
The sandal?
Yeah, the chancla of doom.
That torture device?
Spoons look like fucking popcorn.
Oh yeah, man.
My grandmother had her she'd be sitting there eating, and all suddenly you get stabbed with a fork. And just be like, ah!
Your grandmother must have hated you, because my grandmother-in-law never did a single mean thing to me ever.
Oh no.
Yeah. Notice the word in-law.
Grandpa expected some decorum at the table. And if you didn't have that decorum at the table and you didn't say, please, may I, and stuff like that, you were in big trouble. Out of the table, off the table, that was something else. But at the dinner table, there were rules, man. And one of them is you don't turn down grandma when she offers you food. You just, yes, grandma.
That sounds like a very toxic codependent relationship where she offers you food, and if you don't take it, you get stabbed. So you just take the food so you don't get stabbed. Yeah. That seems very like, I don't think that's healthy.
Well, my grandmother cooked some mean Italian, and it was, you had to ask to leave the table and all that other stuff. So it was like, may I please leave the table? And, so.
Again, I grew up in a family of, why are you still here?
Mine was, if you're not there, you're in trouble.
No, dude. I spent 9 years with an Indian girl, and she could not understand my family. And I had to explain it to her one day. I said, if someone in my family were to say to you, I love you, the immediate response is, are you dying? Like, why are you saying this? So I have 4 older sisters. The middle one, Terry, at my father's funeral, made it weird by trying to hug us. And like the rest of us were all like, what? No, Terry, stop. Why? No. Like, what are you doing? There's your husband. Go hug him. Jesus.
He's going to give you the kiss of death.
Just don't touch each other. Dear God, no public displays of affection. What's wrong with you?
Oh.
That is
totally different families.
That is strange.
As Mystery Science Theater 3000 once said, emotions are for ethnic people.
Ethnic people. Jesus Christ.
Well, that is Mystery Science Theater started here in Minnesota, so I'm not, I'm gonna say.
Oh yeah. Yeah, you want to get on Max Liao's good side, just bring up Mystery Science Theater. He's all like, oh, yeah, that started up here. Like, yes.
So the Philippines apparently is having a real estate crash right now. So now's the time to go to the Philippines and buy a house, or get your Filipino girlfriend to buy the house, because you're not allowed to own property as a foreigner.
Right. Hey?
Oh, you just buy it underneath a corporate name and don't worry about it. That's how a lot of these people get around that rule. They buy it in a corporate name, and then they can get around that no personally owned real estate nonsense.
Yeah, that doesn't work in the Philippines, man.
What do you mean?
Foreigners are not allowed to own property in the Philippines. Be they a foreign company or be they a foreign person. It must be a Filipino who is the head of the ownership.
Oh, I thought you could set up a foreign national could set up a corporation in the Philippines.
No, they have to employ someone in the Philippines who is then the property manager for the property that they have bought for their company.
Oh.
Not crazy, but it's smart, because what it does is it keeps the Chinese out.
Yeah. Ain't that the truth?
Always a good thing to keep the Chinese out.
Yeah.
Oh, that's just a smart move in general. If you're in business or you're in property, you keep the Chinese out, because they got money to burn and they will buy all your shit and not even think about it, you know?
Nope. They will buy every bit of arable land in your entire country. And your ports. They got the money to burn, like Bear said. He's 100% correct.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that is the rule of the land in most countries, except the suicidal West.
Yeah, I agree. They are, but the Chinese are they're really bad at communism.
Oh, they're the worst at communism.
They are the worst at communism.
But they're really good at dictatorial capitalism.
Oh, yeah. Totalitarian capitalism, they're good at that. But a lot of people don't know.
I'm reading here that you can buy real estate in the Philippines, but one of them is a leased land deal where you set it for 99 years and you pay for, you know what I mean? You just
you don't actually own it.
It's a lease.
Yeah, you don't actually own it.
Yeah, you don't own it. You're leasing the land. That's different.
And if you own if a 60% of a building is owned by a Filipinos, you can own a condominium or a townhouse.
Yeah.
And you can get a special investor resident visa. You have to invest over $75,000 in eligible businesses and corporations inside the Philippines, and that's the other option to buying a.
And by the way, none of those are bad ideas.
Nope.
All of those are saying that you will be spending your money here.
Long-term land lease would be just fine. 99 years with an option with 5 or 6 options on top of it. You just say, okay, I'll lease it for 99 years. And
you can buy an apartment, but only in a building that 60% of is owned by Filipinos.
Fine by me. I wouldn't care. Townhouse?
No. Here's what happens with these passport bros. They get married. Their wife buys them a house somewhere.
Yeah.
And then they just chill out and crank kids out and do whatever they're going to do.
Yeah.
And nobody even looks. And apparently in the Philippines, having a mixed race child is really, really a braggable thing.
Well, because they all want blue eyes. That's a big thing in the Philippines, is to have blue-eyed babies, right?
Right.
So you got brown eyes, well, not so good. But if you're blue-eyed or green-eyed, boy, you're gonna get. But the ginger helps. The ginger helps a lot.
And they also apparently in the Philippines, for a man to have a big nose is very attractive.
I wouldn't
So
know.
basically, dudes that would be considered unattractive in America are attractive in the Philippines. And all the hot Filipino chicks that are not considered attractive in the Philippines are the ones we would pick.
A match made in heaven.
Well, one of the problems I have with a foreign country like any Asian country is I'm 6'6". Getting through doorways is going to be problematic.
But boy, would you have one hanging off of you.
Here's a tip. Don't go to Czechoslovakia. or anywhere in Eastern Europe, because they're not made for 6'6" fuckers either.
Well, that's what I say when I go into any house in Minneapolis, because I went into a few houses when I was looking for a house after I got divorced. I was like, oh, I can afford this one. Get in their basement, I'm like, I'm hunched over like the Notre Dame, the Hunchback of Notre Dame. I just couldn't, you know what I mean? It's like, no, I'm not built for this.
However, I can tell you this: you could go to Serbia, where you would be an average-sized person. I don't know what it is with Serbs. Them bastards are big. My brother-in-law was like 6'8", 350 pounds and looked skinny. You know what I mean? 100% Serb. That's just, I mean, they got guys like me there too. It's not like they're all gigantic, but they have a larger than average percentage of guys that are close to 7 foot tall. It's wild, which is why you got so many Serbs playing in the NBA. There was actually a highlight reel where it was like when American players meet a Serb on the court, and I forget the name of the Serb, big old guy, but you know, the NBA players, most of them black, kept trying to dog him out, and he was just taking them out, like freaking chopping them, putting their ass on the ground.
Are you talking about Lugonic or whatever his name is?
Because here's the thing, Serbs don't have this idea about racism. So if you F around with a Serb, he is not going to look at your skin color before he takes you out. He's just going to take you out. Unless you're Albanian, then you just F. Because they really don't like Albanians. But, I mean, the feeling's mutual. So, you know. Like they say.
I think I'm going to get off here for now.
People on my chest, red end. It's good to be an Albanian. I mean, Albanians are so proud of being Albanian. Bleaker, that would be Taiwan. And
right,
they will tell you they're lady boys.
Thailand, actually, not Taiwan.
Thailand, yeah.
Yeah. I think I told you this before. I knew a French guy. He and his girlfriend went to Thailand. When they came back, I said, "Hey, how was the trip?" He goes, "If she over 5'7", she have a penis."
That is what you said, and I've quoted that to other people.
That's a lady boy.
If you're in Thailand and you see a tall woman that looks really attractive, it's a guy.
I had a buddy
Oriental setting. The city don't know what the city is getting.
With a Thai woman.
Yeah.
And
I'd let you watch. I would invite you, but the queens we use would not excite you.
Yeah, the whole song is about
simply
playing
for the
chess.
price. No
That's
offense.
the whole song, chess.
Yep, as well as the name of the opera it's from too.
Yep.
Chess.
Time flies. It doesn't seem a minute since the Terry
Lee boys had the chessboards in it. Yep.
Right. Because when you play at this level,
when you play at this level, it's no ordinary venue. It's Iceland or the Philippines or Hastings or this place.
Yeah. Right. When they're like, what a drag to be looking at the board. And he's like, what do you mean? You've seen one polluted, stinking town.
One crowded, polluted, stinking town. It's just, yeah.
You know, it's like.
Get tired. You're talking to a tourist whose every move is among the purest. I get my kicks above the waistline, sunshine.
See, that was like a pop song. That was in its way also very intellectual.
Oh, yes.
Because it was about chess and all kinds of stuff.
Hey, Bleaker, your dad's living his life. He's 73 years old. Let him be.
I think he's also implying, though, that his dad brought a Phi ladyboy home. I don't know.
Well, it says Philippines, so I mean, he said he brought home a 39-year-old.
Oh no, there's a lot of ladyboys in the Philippines.
Yeah, I don't think I'm not trying to tell you there aren't ladyboys in the Philippines. What I'm telling you is Thailand is known for it. It's like their number one export if they had one, but they tell you they're ladyboys. They don't try and fool you. Like they'll let you know right up front. They're ladyboys. And apparently some people like that. So, you know.
To each their own.
That's,
again,
you
the shirt
know,
says, "You do you."
I'm not going to say it's a good thing, but I'm not going to judge and be whatever either. I'm just going to be like, okay, not for me, but you know, if that's what you like, you do you. And you know, yeah, that's the end of that conversation. But yeah, it's something with Asians. Maybe it's because Asian men are just prettier than European men. That's why European men just can't carry it off.
Too much
Because
hair.
when you see like a European descent dude trying to do like the drag thing, it's like, you know.
Hello, my name is Tina.
Yeah, you know right off the bat. They ain't fooling anybody. But pretty much any Asian guy almost can pull off the lady boy thing.
Pull off the lady boys, huh?
Pull off the lady boy thing. They are just prettier than we are. So, you know, whatever.
So, Bear, how you liking your new crib?
Loving it. Not liking my rent, but I'm loving the crib.
What, rent go up on you?
Oh, dude, I almost doubled my rent.
Oh, Jesus H. Christ. They don't want you there, do they?
And this was still a better deal than trying to find a one-bedroom somewhere else. I'm paying $1,450 for this place. I was paying $800 for my old place. A one-bedroom in Montreal right now is going for on average $1,300. This is a two-bedroom. No.
But that's Canadian, so I'm
Yeah, it's not that. That doesn't mean anything to us. That's the currency we do business in. You fucking Yankee Doodle dumbasses.
That's what I was going to say. It's easy to say,
Jeez.
well, that's Canadian, but it's like, but he's being paid.
I get paid in Canadian. You fuck.
So it's about the same thing.
I'm trying to do the conversion in my mind. Let's put it that way.
I lose about 40 cents on the dollar, 30 to 40 cents depending on the day.
It's still a lot, especially for Canada.
Okay, now I got another question for the big man here. You ready for it? You ready for it, Bear? Okay, here's the question. Why do most Canadians have American bank accounts and Canadian bank accounts?
Because when we do business in America, we have to be able to do American currency. You cannot deposit American currency in a Canadian account.
Oh. Really? Interesting.
Yeah. So if you pay me a check in American, I have to pay fees to get it transferred into Canadian.
Oh.
Which is why I lost so much money on the backer kit.
Oh.
Right.
Oh, so that's okay. I found this out. I don't know how many years ago, but a lady, she applied to the United States, got a social security number, then went to Buffalo, and she got herself an American bank, an account in America. I understand what she's doing now. She drove down there once a month and got cash and brought it back.
Probably.
You know. So
one of my relatives that lived upstate said that, like near Buffalo, the Walmart there would be full of Canadians like every weekend.
Oh, yeah.
Because it was cheaper for the Canadians to cross the border and go to the Walmart and buy whatever the hell they were trying to buy than to buy it wherever the hell they were coming from. So.
Well, that's very, very fair.
But who knows? Maybe you'll get your boy in and everything will be awesome and it'll be great and I'll be super happy for you. And, you know, I'm pulling for you, Canada. I like you. I like the cut of your jib.
Well, thank you. There's a
and you really guys always been our buddies.
Well, there's a really stupid knee-jerk reaction happening in Canada right now, where they're all like, boycott American companies and don't buy American, only buy Canada, which is nice. Problem is as one guy put up, he goes, okay, here's the breakdown on your average McDonald's in Canada. American corporation. 90% of them are privately owned franchises. They employ over 70,000 Canadians under the age of 20. They give on average, each McDonald's gives this many 100 pounds of food to food banks and shelters per year. This is how much money they inject into the local economy through paying their staff, or paying for their electric bills, or paying for their gas bills, or paying for, like, stop acting like fucking idiots is basically the message. And I'm getting really tired of it, because right now my Facebook is just full of, this product's Canadian made, Canadian owned, fuck America. And I'm like, God, you fucking morons. Do you think there's a reason why we sit around begging for Dodge and Ford to open up fucking car plants in Toronto and Ontario? It's not because we want to have, like, if we get rid of them, we don't have Canadian ones to take the place. Also, that American shit is cheaper than the Canadian shit. There's nothing more obnoxious than upper middle class fucking virtue signaling activist twats who have money to be able to afford the stuff that they think we should all be fucking living on. You know what I mean?
Yes. I had the opportunity to meet my favorite niece's current boyfriend.
Mm-hmm.
And he's one of those guys that got a 6-year degree in something stupid, but is absolutely convinced that he's way smarter than everyone.
Oh, I
And
love
it bothered me so much. I actually got in his face and told him I'd rip his fucking head off, which he backed down. But it was like, because I told him, I said, you keep talking shit. I said, you are a young man. I said, I am a 53-year-old man. And when I was giving you those hints about stop doing this and stop doing that, those were your hints. But you just kept blowing them off and being passive aggressive and making your snide comments. And I was like, so now we're going to do this. Of course, my wife was not happy. She was all like, what's wrong with you? And I was like, I'm mad, fucking mad. And she understands, but, she don't want me beating up my niece's boyfriend.
You know what?
He just sat down, and I told him, I got over him. I said, take your glasses off, motherfucker. I dare you. And he's like, I'm not doing this. I was like, yeah,
sometimes
it's not your choice.
Them back on track, and that's all there is, James. I've had young people come up to me when I'm driving the truck, and they say, I want you to do this. I paid for you to do that. And I look at them and say, you didn't pay shit. Oh, I want your phone number. I'll give them my personal phone number, and they call me up, and I write on my phone. I'll look at them right in the face, and I'll say no, and I'll hang up the phone.
In my case, it wasn't anything in particular. It was just a series of events.
Well, I know, but
that just built up over like an entire weekend.
Oh,
and then I was sitting there, and he said something, and I blacked out. And then my wife finally got me calmed down, and it was like,
James, they sometimes need that. They just do. I mean, I've got kids, that
my hope is that it humbled him a little bit, and he'll realize when he's hanging out with adults that he doesn't have to have some smarmy freaking bullshit saying all the time. Because my niece, she's one of my favorite people. She started crying, which made me feel terrible. But then she forgave me because, I'm her favorite uncle too. But it was a fucked up situation that didn't need to happen. But it's like, okay, you know how when they talk about going to Thanksgiving, there's always that one uncle that won't stop talking politics? Well, he was the uncle in this case. And he's super far left, like practically a communist. And I'm sitting here like trying not to say anything. I'm just being like, oh my God, this guy, it's like, really? Stop it. We're trying to play Carcassonne or some shit, right? We're playing board games. I don't want to hear about your bullshit. Especially when somebody says something, he basically calls them a liar right to their face. And it is because I forget who said it, but they're like, so something about Bernie Sanders taking a bunch of money from the pharmaceutical companies.
Right.
And RFK called him out, and he's like, that didn't happen. And it's like, I'm sitting there like, I'm pretty sure that did in fact happen. And he's like, no, that's a lie. And it's like, pretty sure that's not a lie, But I mean, what do you do? What do you even say? Some people are just dumb. So I haven't snapped in many, many years, but that was a full on Mr. McKee blacking out, going right to the worst place. And
when you can back up your information, and here's the thing though, with these, they listen to just narrow banded media, and they won't take anything else that you say and go check out the information. Like you'll get information from 3 or 4 different other sources over here, and they're backed up by government websites, but they've got to listen to this one, this one pundit
right.
It's just like, it
like
drives
that's
me
not what
insane.
David Pac-Man said. It's
Yeah.
like you actually care what that guy says?
Yeah.
But anyway, I'm not like, really, I just wanted to avoid all of that. But sometimes it happens, I need to stream full time. Confrontation would have made a good job. No, it wouldn't have. It would not have. It was bad. It was bad and shameful and terrible. And like I said, one of my favorite persons in the world, I made her cry really bad. And that made me feel like small, like a bug. I was just like so ashamed of myself because it's not very manly to lose control like that, I mean, it's much more masculine and manly to maintain control. And I let this smart ass, yappy little liberal get me to the point to where I completely lost control. And that is something, in my opinion, and you guys can disagree, all you guys listening, but in my opinion, that's something to be ashamed of. I should not have let that guy get under my skin. Ultimately, what the F does he know? Nothing. He's never been anywhere. He's never done anything. So who cares what he thinks about anything? It's like, but unfortunately, and it wasn't because I was off my meds or anything. I was on my meds and everything. It was just that I guess I just got pushed too far too long. But when I'm not online talking with you guys, I'm an introvert. Like incredibly introverted. My wife would tell you. Whereas she is much more of an extrovert. She likes people and shit like that. In real life, I like 5 people. And, that's the people I hang out with and game with and shit. So if I'm allowed to be left to my own devices to do whatever, that's what I do. I mind my business. When I'm in public, I do everything I can to affect no one around me. Because that's just how I was raised, If I go to the store, I go directly in, I get the thing, I pay for it, I say thank you, please and thank you, and then I freaking leave, And I don't bang my music loud, I don't act up, because I just try to pass through like a shadow, you know what I mean? I am not here trying to get anybody's attention about anything. And yeah. So, yeah, it's embarrassing, honestly. Very embarrassing.
I do that all the time. I don't care.
Yeah, but
go.
Like I said, it was super sad. It made me very sad too. Oh, he did too, and we hugged it out in the end, and water under the bridge and all that. So it's all good. But I'm going to tell you guys, I felt terrible. Like like seriously, I felt just the worst, like a monster, because it was just like, and the look on my niece's face, just I don't think I'll ever forget it. Even though, like I said, she gave me a hug and said she loved me, and she'd all still visit and not worry about it, but I just really felt like I let her down. I let my wife down. I let me down, because like I said, I should have been able to keep that shit under control. But instead, I went into a full-blown piss fit. And my poor wife, with her little trotty elf ass, trying to pull me back, and and she's like 5'1", and buck whatever, and I'm 6'6'1" on a good day, 250 pounds. Is like, you know what I mean? It wasn't happening. She couldn't do anything about it, and that scared her, because she realized if I flip the hell out, she can't do anything about it. And that put her in a weird spot. You know what I mean? Like, but I think everything's good. Just definitely a learning lesson, I would say. Like,
all right, gentlemen, I'm going to let you go. And you guys have a fine night. And Bear, keep out of trouble. I know James isn't going to get any.
No. Well, it's about time for Bear to start his stream, actually.
Actually, in 30 minutes, I got my Star Trek game tonight,
Right.
so I'm actually gonna have to
I'm
bounce.
going to bolt. See you guys later.
So I was going to bounce, since it's getting close for you to get ready for your thing. So
Well, you have a good night, sir, and we will talk to you anon.
Thank you, sir. I appreciate that. Yep. And everyone else who stood by and watched, thank you. Still building Trench Crusade stuff. Still not giving a shit how the creators of the game feel about me. Still going to play it the way I want and how I want. And kind of looking forward to painting up this Vatican rapid response team, which is all like sci-fi Swiss Guard, because, the orange and the purple and all the halberds and all the Moran helmets and everything. I think they will look pretty cool. But I do need to put a lot more crosses and weird trenchy crusade shit on them, I think. However, I have a lot of those, so it's all going to be good. So yeah, peace and love. Take care of yourself. And I'll see you in the next one.